6 double-sided patterns. Just wanted to make sure I'd got the mats here. So you actually get 12 patterns, but they're double-sided, but you get 8 of each sheet. So you've got sort of prickles and flowers and lovely backgrounds, cactus, cacti, so all these flowers and things, these lovely patterns that are great for more generic cards. You get this one sheet that you're able to die cut all of these elements from. That's really useful. And another one there. So that's your pack of paper. So 48 double-sided sheets that you get in your paper pack. You get a complete full stamp set. It's a photopolymer stamp set, but you get a full stamp set in its case and everything. You know, it just is not like you get in kits where they don't come in a case. You get your case, you get the complete full stamp set, and this one has these nice cactus images on it and some really nice greetings, including life can get kind of prickly, which I think is fab, particularly for the moment. And then you get these dies. So you get some of your dies that are going to cut out your images here. You get some that are going to give you additional elements, and then you get like this prickly cactus here, and then you get this sort of border almost pattern that sort of gives you a border into some cardstock, and we'll see that in a minute. So that's the stamp set and the die set. You get all of these little felt flowers. They're just so cute. So they look very weird in the sheets. You get some in Highland Heather and some in Calypso Coral, but when you pop them out, oh, that one stuck to my finger, you get these really pretty little felt flowers. They're just beautiful because obviously they are flowering cactuses, not just any old cactus. So you have to have your flowers to go on your flowering cactus. And then you get, I'll pop those away afterwards, and then you get 2 rolls of twine, a Calypso Coral one and a crumb cake twine. So that is the product medley. So you get the whole kit and caboodle of that, all the papers, the stamp set, the dies, the twine, the felt flowers, all come in one big pack. You don't get any instructions, you don't get any serving suggestions other than the ones that you've got in your catalogue. The product medley suite are aimed at people, I mean obviously you're going to go onto Pinterest and find things, but it's aimed at people that want to just have product and play. So one of the jobs I've got to do this morning was I'm doing an article for cooperative, that a blog post newsletter cooperative I'm part of. So I'm doing an article about this particular suite. So I've been taking pictures of papers and all of those sorts of things. I've cased actually a couple of the samples from the catalogue. I've not done that for ages. We used to have casing the catalogue on a Monday morning, didn't we? So I've not done that for ages, but this one here and this one here I have created. And then we're going to make a couple of different ones now. So there we go. You can see here how that sort of border die cuts this pattern into the background. Really pretty. And then these flowers here, you stamp these out, and then you've got one die that will cut both of those out at the same time. So that's those here. These are nice, interesting little stamps. So these are 2 little stamps, and what they're for is so that you can ground your cactus. You can give it the ground that it's growing out of. So those are those. This card, I've used this die here to die cut these prickles into the background just here. But and look, and there's some of those felt flowers stuck onto that cactus. This is just die cut from the paper. This was just a circle where I've used my stamping blends to stamp to colour the sky and the ground, and a bit of paper. So those, as I say, are just straight from the catalogue. Well, they won't be quite, because mine are metric and they will have been done in American sizing, so they may look slightly different in terms of perspective, but those are those. Now the other thing that I'd done this morning, I'm going to have a slurp of water. is I had to die cut some of those images from that paper. Let's see if I can find that again. So you've got this sheet here with all of these images on. Morning Jackie. And I've actually gone ahead and die cut some of those. And the other thing that I've got in here, where I die cut those little prickly bits out of that background, obviously you get the die cut prickly bits. So I figured we're going to use those as well. So we'll do a card with some of the die cuts on. And then we'll do a card, I think, with some stamping. Now the colours in this kit are, I think I have them here, Mint Macaron, Highland Heather, Calypso Coral, Pear Pizzazz, Crumb Cake, and Mossy Meadow, although Crumb Cake isn't mentioned in the list with the papers and things. I've certainly added Crumb Cake in to some of my projects. Either Crumb Cake or Sahara Sand is another one. Obviously, thinking of a cactus growing in the desert, Sahara Sand would work quite well. So let's have a little bit of play with these die cuts. Now you can see you've got all these beautiful images and these lovely flowers. Let's see what we can do with those. I think I'm going to take some Highland Heather. Blankly looking round for my trimmer. There we go. And we'll make a Highland Heather card base. Oh, let's score it before we fold it. And one of the, I haven't got them yet, but there is a die set in the new catalogue that they call, I've just shown you the inside of that catalogue. I should be shot at dawn. I'm not supposed to show you the inside of the catalogue. You haven't seen it. I'll have to chop that bit off the beginning before I put it on YouTube. Die cut that bit. Edit that bit. It's Monday morning, isn't it? You can tell. In the new catalogue coming out, they have got some dies that are, as I say, I haven't got them yet. They're dies that are sort of label dies, but they are sort of crinkly edged, for want of a better word. I'm trying to see them to see what they're called. No, can't see them. I'll have to hunt those down. They may be in the annual catalogue and I just haven't got them. But they've got sort of a nice crinkly edge to them. But I haven't got those, so we can't use those. But I was just thinking they would be fabulous to have in the background, to sort of highlight the sort of prickliness. That's what I'm thinking of the morning, Caroline. The prickliness of the cactus. Right, where's my pile of papers? Don't know whether I want to go quite so That's quite pretty, isn't it? Shall we bring that one in? Let's cut a paper. That is 10 by 14.4. And it will have another little bit of Highland heather in the background there. Just rummage and see if I can find any Highland heather scraps. I don't know whether I've got any that are big enough for that. I don't think I have. So we'll come back to our paper. It's not clock ticking, Caroline, it's rain dripping. If it was a clock ticking I could move it, but I can't do anything about the rain dripping. It's just like drip, 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 drip. So apologies. Fortunately can't turn the rain off, much as that would be quite nice sometimes. There we go. Let's take a little bit of shimmery white cardstock and we'll cut that square from shimmery white. Now I'm going to get my water brushes, take my sort of fattish one. Why not take the, yes we will go with the fattish one. Let's just take a good squeeze this one. I'm just going to lay down some water on my shimmery white and then I'm going to take, I think, the mint macaron. Got a nice little blob in there already. Let's see if we can squeeze a bit more water in there. And we're just going to, that's a bit fluffy. Down a bit of a wash on there. Give it, morning Glenda, give it a bit of a burst. I think with my tick 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 of the rain going on I might be sort of hypnotised, mightn't I, by the end of the morning. Right, so that's just a bit of the mint macaron in the back there. It's a bit of a colour. And then we've got all these lovely die cut cacti here. Now what I thought I would do with some of my little prickles is I'm going to add them to this. Bring in my chair. Let's sit down for this job. Not sure that this glue has got enough in it to it's not been sitting upside down, and I think it would needed to have been to do this job. I'm just going to stick some of these Mossy Meadow prickly bits on the top to make it an exceptionally prickly cactus. Don't put your finger on this one. Let's have a smaller one down here. And we'll perhaps put one in there. And maybe this little one just there. So now we've got a very prickly cactus. Which I will stick directly onto that background. And this lovely little cactus here is pear pizzazz and a touch of calypso coral on the ends. I'm going to raise that one up on dimensionals once I pick them up off the floor. Just removed a prickle from the cactus. Got a little one somewhere. Let's pop a couple of mini dimensionals on there as well, just to, because it is of course paper rather than card, so we do want to make sure that we've given that. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it, Lucy? They're just such, it's just such a fun set, and I really did feel as if I almost had naught to like it as much as I do. Don't know why, really. So let's pop some dimensionals behind there. It just makes a real change to have flowering cactus. There is another set in the new catalogue that has got succulents in. And then I've also die cut a little calypso coral flower. Let's pop some glue on here. Then I think we'll take this die here and let's have a look. Oh yes, got a nice strip of Calypso coral there. Perfect. I'm going to layer that up on there. Now this is one of these dies, it's not going to cut anything out, it's going to cut a pattern in. Let's just run that through there. And we shall need, no doubt, to trim it up a little bit. So you can see how that's cut that pattern into that cardstock. So let me trim that off either end. It might need to be trimmed off the other way slightly as well. It's slightly wonky, so let's see if we can unwonkify that slightly and just trim it down. Slightly that end. So I've got a tape runner here. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do this. I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of there. Dear oh dear. That's my local dialect coming out. It's Shayton in a gunner. Don't always hear it in yourself, do you? But it came over loud and clear that time. It's a great die. Yeah, it is, Lucy. We'll have a play with the other cactus in a minute that also embosses into. Now we might need to move this bow. It will need to be a movable feast, but that's okay. We haven't attached it down anywhere. So if we need to twirl it a bit left or right in a minute, we will be able to. Snip that off. Let's bring in our cactus now. Are we going straight? Are we going wonky? Oh, I see, I do like a bit of wonky. I might have to ease that over just slightly. I'm going to put that on there wonky. So let's glue this down now. Now we know that our bow is about in the right place. We haven't decided on a greeting. You are a rare find, my dear friend. I love how our friendship has grown. Hope your birthday is filled with beautiful things. I'm always here for you. Happy looks good on you. And life can get kind of prickly. I'm going to go with I'm always here for you for this one, I think. And we'll pop that up on there in a moment. Let's pop that on. Some dimensionals. Raise that up. When you think that these catalogues are designed a long way in advance. It's amazing how many sentiments you can find that seem to fit current situations where everybody needs a little bit of, needs to be reminded that people are there for them, looking out. Let's have, I think, what shall we? Now our background, of course, we did do a bit of watercolour wash on it. So I'm quite tempted just to snip a bit of actually, no, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take, I think, possibly a little bit of Highland Heather. Let's just snip that little bit off of there. I've got my greeting on there. Let's bring in some white embossing powder, because we've got this nice sort of almost sense of the white elements in here. Let me just before I do that. There we go. You stamped it with Versamark, white embossing powder over the top. Let's heat it up. There we go. The heat tool gets hot. We will trim that down. There's our mini dimensionals gone just here. A couple of dimensionals on there. Wonky Donkey does look good. And we'll have that on a wonky as well. So there we are. That's just literally using the papers die cut. And the other nice thing about this particular, well, all the product medley suites, is that you can actually, you've got your full kit with your stamp set, your die set, all of those sorts of things. If you've gone completely mad and used up all your paper, you can get a refill kit, and the refill kit includes the papers. I think it includes the first. So I'm just looking round. I'm so determined not to flash the catalogue at you that I've completely hidden it. You certainly get the papers. I would think that you get the twine and flowers as well, but I will confirm that when my catalogue comes back into view, from whence it is hiding. Wondering if it's slid off somewhere. Right, so there's one card, say, using those die cuts, using some of that really lovely paper, die cutting the paper. Use that die that embosses those patterns into the background here. So let's have a look and see if we can have a go at doing some, let's do some stamping with some of these and die cut them. They're They're very lovely, aren't they? Obviously you could go off and do whatever colours you like. You don't have to stick to the colours that are in the papers. I'm also going to bring in my stamp apparatus because I think we'll do a bit of multi-tonal stamping. Got an oddment of card here. It's got some marks on that end, so let's, looks like it's had an ink pad sat on top of it. Let's move that to one side. We'll use this bit. Using up, you can tell, can't you? I'm using up all my oddments of Whisper White and things, particularly as it's maybe on back order for a little while the new supplies come in. Right, so I'm going to line my card up so I know exactly where it is, so that if I want to come in and do a second stamp, I can do. I'm going to take Pear Pizzazz, I think, as a starting colour for this cactus. Stamp that. That's quite nice. But then I am going to go slightly away from the colours that are in the paper. We'll do some different colours. I've got some Mango Melody there. I'm going to dig about and hopefully find a Mango Melody dauber. And let's add in some Mango Melody just around the top here, I think. Let's have a look how that looks. A little bit of a hint there. I might come in and do a bit more. Because that's the nice thing about our stamp apparatus, is that we can, and it won't matter particularly if it's not in exactly the same place. That will just give us a bit more shading. Yes, that's definitely looking much more yellow now. Love it. Right, so that one is Pear Pizzazz and Mango Melody. Let's bring in this one. And again, I might stick with Mint Macaron for the base colour. So sticking with one of the colours from the papers for this base colour. Just make sure that's back up in the corner so that if it does move slightly, I know exactly where it started. Oh, that's obviously got a hair on it. It's amazing, isn't it? How big a difference just a hair can make. You would think that was a huge chunk of paper. So we'll come in again. That's better. That's disguised that slightly. And giving it a much stronger look. How about some Flirty Flamingo on this one? Let's find our flirty flamingo dauber. This is where you can really get to play with colours. And again, we'll build that up until we're happy with how that's looking. Lovely. So that's a mint macaron and a flirty flamingo. Now, just going to leave, let's take that off because I'm liable to put my stamp apparatus to one side and then forget where that stamp is, particularly at the moment with Christmas brain going on. Let's have Mango Melody flowers and temporarily lost my stamp set. I'm going to bring in this sort of a bit more prickly type flower, and we'll have that in Flirty Flamingo. And then what colour am I going to have to go with that? I think I'm going to go Pear Pizzazz again. We'll die cut one of those a prickly cactus, and then we'll perhaps add some colour to that with a dauber as well. So we've got a Pear Pizzazz and Mango Melody cactus, a mint macaron with Flirty Flamingo cactus. We've got some Mango Melody and some Flirty Flamingo flowers. That was nearly a mouthful, wasn't it? Mango Melody and Flirty Flamingo flowers. Let's bring in a little machine. And let's unearth the dies from underneath all of those ink pads. So we've got this pair of dies here that's going to cut our flowers for us. And this die here that's going to cut these flowers for us. Look at that, I think we're going to get all of those on that plate, aren't we? I'm going to bring in some tape to tape them down. You have to be washi tape, but that's fine, that will work. So one. I'm going to have to roll that one through a second time just because that is overlapping sometimes a little bit, and you never want to overlap your dies because one can cut into the other, and that is not good. We've got more die cutting to do anyway, so that's not a worry. So let's run those flowers and that cactus through there. Don't take the surface off. One. Should have released some of the sticky off of the washi tape before I ran it through. Never mind, that will determine the position of the flowers, won't it? 2. And now we have the flowers to run through. And we're going to die cut one of these. So look at that for a prickly cactus. I don't know, there are. No, it doesn't want to. It doesn't want to. There we go. Slightly better. A prickly cactus and a couple of little spiky flowers. And there we have our prickly cactus. I'm going to take the prickly cactus and a mossy meadow dauber, and I'm just going to come around the edge of that and give it a bit of shading. And that will just help it to pop a little bit. Like that, do we think? Let's have a stitched label for this one. might go with a bit of Sahara sand for my stitch label. Seems a very appropriate colour to have, doesn't it? Going to swap to my larger machine that's behind me just to run that through, save me trimming that card down. And I think we will go pear pizzazz. I don't think that's quite going to fit on there though, but that's okay. I have scraps galore. Like that. Let's build those up. Then we'll have this one in the background. We'll have this one here. This one will add some dimensionals to lift it up. That's going to need to be a mini dimensional in there. We can have the slightly smaller one that side. Oh, seem to have lost the ability to be able to pick up a dimensional. There we go. Have that one up there. We'll bring in our mango melody flowers. I've not really researched flowers, cactus flowers. That might be a Pinterest board at some point. Not that we have to stick to colours that are found in nature, but it's always nice to investigate, and it's amazing actually if you do those sorts of things. You very quickly realise how much research has gone into Stampin' Up's into Stampin' Up some colours and things. I'm going to take a piece of Mossy Meadow. I'm going to cut it at 10.5. Score it at about 14.9. And then I'm just lining up. I'm not being too precise, but I'm just cutting that end bit off to be about 7.5 centimetres. Just Good to have that sitting in the background there. It's not quite long enough. I don't know if you end up with loads and loads of odd bits of card. I get so many. Cutting that down to 40.4 by 10. And then we need another bit that is 7 by 10. Nope, don't like that. That's not happening. Let's have an explore of our papers and see if any of those will work. That one would. Or a stripy one. Or a cactusy one. That works. Just thinking of having that so that we've got something to write on, but the two were too much. Then what I might do with this one is take this sort of prickly dye just here and run that through. Merry Christmas, Glenda. So I've run that twice, once through the top and once through the bottom. So that will sit in there now, and we'll have those prickles just there. So let's just put some glue on one half of that card. And put some glue on here. Like that. Yes, so the refill, I've just buried my trimmer, my catalogue underneath my trimmer. So having just unearthed it, your refill set is your papers, your twine and your felt embellishment, so you'd get another complete set of those things. Let's have You Are a Rare Find, my dear friend. Have that on a bit of Sahara sand, and we will stamp it with Mossy Meadow ink. Sorry for bothering you. I'm going to take a bit of this twine and just, in fact, I think we'll do a double bow. I'm going to fold it in half, then tie my bow. Let's find my, we'll chop both ends so we get a bit of a double bow. Put some mini dimensionals on that. And a glue dot on our twine, and a double bow. There we go. Right, so this one we've done some stamping and die cutting, made our own colour combinations. This one is using the papers from the pack along with some that embossing die, really lovely. And then these are the two that I've cased from our upcoming catalogue. So lots of beautiful cards using this surprisingly wonderful, I don't know why I'm surprised, but it was almost like, I don't know, it's not as if we live in the desert, but perhaps on a cold, wet Monday morning, a whole load of cactuses is just what you want. I will be back in 2 seconds. very sorry. It was a UPS delivery man with a Christmas set that was labelled Christmas Day stuff to a lady that doesn't live here, and I don't know who she is. So hopefully that means they probably won't be getting their Christmas stuff. How sad. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed those cards. I didn't just want to dash off. Any other day I'd have just gone, oh, I have to go catch up with you. But because, yeah, this is our last one before Christmas. The next time I'll be coming in on a Monday will probably be 1st, 2nd, 3rd, probably 4th of January will be the next live Monday morning. So until then, all of you have the most wonderful Christmas break, however you're spending it and however odd it may be. Enjoy. Thank you for being with me during the last 12 months, and we will venture off into the next 12 months together, and we will craft along with whatever the world throws at us. So happy Christmas, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful new year, and I'll see you all on January the 4th.